I think V might be the most charming BTS member. What's happening, everyone? Max here. We are back for another Behind story. Today we're gonna be checking out our boy J-Hope. I love this series. I look forward to continuing with it. So let's get right into the video today. Guys, if you wanna watch my full uncut reaction and analysis, all you need to do is go to my Patreon page. I've included the link in my description below. Other than that, let's get started here.
반갑네.
반가워요. 오늘 그쪽을 인터뷰하게 됐는데 오늘 좋은 대답 부탁해요.
되게 영광이네. 태영이가 또
아,
인터뷰를 해주니.
일단은 뭐 제가 살면서
네.
언제 한번
I mean, we forget that V's got that low-key sense of humor, right? Like, I like V's sense of humor. It's really growing on me.
오늘 좋은 대답 부탁해요.
Already kind of giving J-Hope a hard time.
일단은 만나뵙게 되어서 정말 영광입니다.
아,
일단은 지금만큼은 형이라고 안 하고 제이홉 씨라고 할게요.
네네. 뭐 편하게 하세요.
뭐 제이홉 씨는 이제 이번 B 앨범 준비 기간 동안
네.
좀 많은 곡들을 작업해 왔잖아요.
그쵸. 좀 작업을 했죠.
뭐
We haven't even started the interview, and I've got things to say here. I like how V is not pretending to get into formal interview mode.
그러면 형이라고 안 하고 제이홉 씨라고 할게요.
He's pretty good at cutting through the BS, and I think an example of him cutting through the bullshit is doing things like that. Hey, like, I'm not gonna put on this like fake interviewer persona here. So V, we've talked about this, very true to himself.
뭐 염두하고 쓰지는 않았었던 것 같아요. 솔직하게. 그냥 내가 할 수 있는 음악을 한번 해보자. 그럼 거기서 이제 뭐 BTS 음악이 뭐 BTS 음악 스타일과 맞으면은 뭐 앨범에 들어가는 거고, 사실 거기에 연연하지 않고 좀 제 그냥 음악 스타일대로, 그리고 제가 하고 싶은 내용과 이야기들을 담아서 좀 썼던 것 같아요.
I've said this before about J-Hope. He doesn't dwell on things. He mentioned it there. I'm so happy he said that because it confirmed my initial suspicions. It feels good when my initial theories are somewhat confirmed and validated.
그게 연연하지 않고 좀 제 그냥 음악 스타일대로.
But I think that applies to how he goes through life in a lot of different arenas, not just with music. He doesn't seem to dwell. He doesn't seem to be in his head as much as some of the other guys are in their head.
사죠, 솔직히.
그럼
네.
다작을 하셨다고 들었는데
네.
뭐 아직까지 그 파일이 남아 있나요?
파일 많이 남아 있죠.
애착 가는 것들이 있나요?
애착 가는 거요. 애착 가는 건 사실 뭐 보면은 많죠. 예. 그리고 어쨌거나 저도 사실 개인적인 음악을 좀 더
See, like, I think V's actually a really good example of showing genuine curiosity without being extra.
뭐 아직까지 그 파일이 남아 있나요?
That's the cool thing about V. Like, you can see V's interested. You can see he's listening, but he's not doing anything extra to try to show that he is. He just is. That's the thing about V. He just is. V is just him, man. And he is a curious guy. And he is curious in J-Hope. And I think J-Hope can sense that and appreciate that.
킵해 두고 있고, 그리고 좀 큰 그림으로 뭔가 앞으로 좀 멋진 꿈을 꾸기도 하죠. 예.
제가 언제
I
한번
love hearing that from Hobie too. I've got this big dream of doing big things with these songs. It's nice to hear when Hobie expresses those big dreams.
생각해낸 병은 좀 심리적인 병으로 먼저 다가가서 쓴 곡인데,
네.
사실 이 상황을 겪으면서 되게 쉬고는 있지만
네.
이때까지 내가 원했던 휴식이 온전하지 않고 불편한 거죠.
Yeah, it's nice to see J-Hope opening up a little bit here. You hear V throughout that entire answer. You hear him listening. You hear that active acknowledgement.
다가가서 쓴 곡인데
네.
He has this very, very natural way of making this conversation feel very real and very authentic, just in the way he's asking questions that feel very personal to him.
뭐 아직까지 그 파일이 남아 있나요?
Even to the point where he was eating a fruit. I don't know what he's eating. Peach, a tomato? I couldn't really tell. He's eating something.
온전하지 않고 불편한 거죠. 그래서 사실 이런 것
You might look at that and say, oh, like V, like that's kind of rude of you to be eating while J-Hope's opening up to you. I think this is V's way of just being himself and making things feel more natural as a result.
제가 또 연구를 많이 하고 공부를 많이 해왔습니다. 제가
연구까지.
제이홉 씨 2011년 팬이거든요.
2011년이요?
2011년 팬이에요.
네, 많이 10년 전이네요.
지금 10년 정도
네.
됐는데
네.
되게
I still do feel like it's a little bit more difficult for J-Hope to open up. I don't necessarily think him talking about this is actually as natural as like a guy like Suga or RM or even maybe V.
초창기 멤버예요. 초창기 팬입니다.
그렇죠.
제가.
감사합니다.
아무래도 그 호흡 스트릿도 다 보고
아유, 감사해요. 네.
그 영상 올린 것도 다 봤는데
열심히
제이홉
봤죠.
하면 퍼포먼스밖에 생각이 안 나더라고요.
아우, 네네.
1등
감사합니다.
퍼포먼스.
과찬이세요.
근데 이제 아무래도 이번 앨범을 작업하면서 병 하면 저는 내적 댄스가 막 쳐지던데
네.
뭐 퍼포먼스 뭐 이런 거 생각해 두신 게 있는지.
Take note how long the build-up was before asking that question.
제이홉 하면 퍼포먼스밖에 생각이 안 나더라고요.
V charming the pants off of Hobie here. Like 90% of it was him building context, talking about how he's a J-Hope fan.
초창기 멤버예요.
아,
초창기
예.
People like hearing good things about themselves. Adding relevance before asking the question, adding some context, especially if that context is positive and specific to the person that we're speaking to. I think that's really going to get their attention. I think V might be the most charming BTS member.
퍼포먼스를 하게 된다면은 뭐 아까 제가 또 중의적인 표현을 했지 않습니까? 병이란 게 또 그 유리병 그러니까 위병이 또 있지 않습니까?
네.
사실 이제 그 안에서 뭔가의 세트를 만들고 뭐 여러 가지 생각은 해봤어요, 솔직히.
네.
네. 이렇게 막 그 안에서 저희가 뭐 그냥 춤 안 추고
I think J-Hope really appreciates and values his privacy. And maybe that's why I'm like sensing a little bit of restlessness here with J-Hope, just a bit, just the way he's sort of moving around and shaking his legs throughout the interview. I think he likes that element of privacy. Let me know, what do you guys think? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that.
제이홉 씨가 병 말고도
네.
이제 다른 곡들에도 가사 참여나 멜로디를 많이 썼잖아요.
아, 네네.
근데 이제 이건 저한테 도움이 될 것 같은데
네.
약간 작업할 때에 좀 중요하게 생각하는 포인트가 있다면
V is delivering this interview incredibly smoothly. It doesn't even feel like an interview. It feels like a very natural conversation.
저도 내가 짊어지고 가야 할 부분이기 때문에 사실 무섭지가 않고 그 상황을 대면해 보겠다라는 의미를 좀 많이 담아봤어요. 그래서 그런 부분도 어떻게 보면은
V's been locked in on Hobie this entire time. Perhaps V knows that it's not often that J-Hope opens up like this. Maybe he's thinking, hey, this is a moment that I want to really take in, and this is something that I'm grateful for.
또 있게 공부를 많이 해서 좀 더 발전을 하려고 많이 노력을 하는 편이죠.
일단 제가 그때 회색 코뿔소라는 가사를
네.
보고 나서
네.
제가 저희 프로듀서 분들께
네.
한마디 했습니다.
네.
헐리 뻥.
허리.
V's got such a calming presence, and he's confident. V's so confident.
헐리 뻥.
He kind of looks at you and he's with you. Very charming. He's very present with you. You know, it's funny me saying this now, do a flashback to some of my older videos, V kind of seeming to be in his own head and me commenting on it,
He kind of lives in his head a lot of the time, it feels like V does.
to now where I'm saying, hey, V is like extremely present with you. Like when V's present with you, he's really present with you. And we're seeing that here. He doesn't shy away from sort of getting into your world.
헐리 뻥.
허리 뽕이 뭔가요?
Grandfather.
You're amazing. That's sort of the underlying sentiment that I'm getting from this conversation. Like, you know, he makes you feel good. V lets you know that he appreciates you. And he does it in such a sincere way.
키는 색깔은 좀 빠질 수 없는 것 같아요.
네네네.
아무래도 제이홉 씨가 그 BTS 팀 내에서 분위기 메이커다 보니까
네네.
제가 이런 말을 통통 메이커뿐만이
통통 메이크업? 네.
통통 튀는 느낌뿐만 아니라 약간 그 다른 매력도
I'm not sure if J-Hope's good at receiving all those compliments. Nay.
네네네.
아무래도
Yeah, he really truly is a humble guy. This isn't an act. This isn't an act. I actually do genuinely think he feels uncomfortable taking that praise.
이번엔 좀 그루브한 곡을 좀 해보고 싶다 해서 멤버들한테 그러니까 솔직담백하게 나 이 곡 하고 싶다라고 제가 되게 스트레이트하게 좀 이야기를 했었던 기억이 있어요.
네.
그래가지고 좀 멤버들도 어떻게 보면 저를 이해를 해준 거고 그 곡을 하라고 또
Hobie So humble, so appreciative, just the way he phrased that. The group was generous enough to let me do the song.
곡을 하라고 또
Very humble, right? Like they didn't have to. That's the implication. They didn't have to let me do the song, but they were generous enough to let me do it.
그러니까 되게 재밌게 뭔가 되게 제목도 마음에 들었었거든요. 그래서 되게 재밌게 작업을
Hobie gives props where props are due.
어떤 일들이 있었는지
이게 되게 좋은 현상이죠. 어떻게 보면은 사실 뭐든지 저 혼자 해결을 할 수 있으면 너무나도 좋겠지만 사실 이런 게 팀이 아닌가라는 생각이 들어요. 제가 할 수 없는 부분들 그리고 제가
Like
필요
that. Okay, now we're getting some good self-reflection from J-Hope. We were getting glimpses before, but I really like that.
어떻게 보면은 사실
He's not afraid to ask for help. I appreciate that in Hobie.
를 청하는 거죠. 사실 이번 병 같은 경우는 브릿지 작업을 이제 지민이가 이제 멜로디를
Hobie's a really confident guy, but I think that's a sign of his confidence there. Like the ability to ask for help. Like I think it takes some confidence to say, you know what, I can't do this on my own. I think a lot of us are guilty of putting a lot of responsibility on our own shoulders and trying to figure everything out on our own. When in reality, I think it does take confidence to ask for help.
어쨌거나 전반적으로
And I think it's a compliment to the people around you when you ask them for help. Think about it. Don't you feel good when someone asks you for your advice on something? I think that's showing that they have trust in you. They trust and appreciate your opinion and your advice. So I'm sure the guys, Jimin and Namjoon in this example, appreciate when Hobie comes to them.
뼈대로 시작해서 뭔가 살을 붙이고 온전한 완벽한 하나의 사람을 만드는 거죠. 앨범이란 사람. 네.
Throughout this interview, there's some answers when J-Hope's talking. You can see a genuine smile come to his face in certain moments. There was one right there.
사람을 만드는 거죠. 앨범이란 사람. 네.
It's the most obvious when J-Hope gets excited.
제이홉 씨 얼굴을 계속 보면서 제가 인터뷰를 했거든요.
근데 이 왼쪽 얼굴에 뼈루지가 나가지고요. 굉장히 마음이 아파요.
근데 그걸 떠나서
I love it. That was so genuine from J-Hope. I think V really makes J-Hope smile and laugh.
그걸 떠나서 음악 얘기를 할 때 입가에 미소가 띄면서
There you go! What did I just say?
입가에 미소가 띄면서
You can tell when J-Hope gets excited.
어떻게 보면 제가 이제 춤으로 어떻게 보면 음악을 접한 건데 사실 음악에 대해서는 아직도 미숙한 점이 많고 부족한 점이 좀 있다고 생각이 들어요. 그래서 항상 숙연해지고 음악 이야기만 나오면은 뭔가 되게 겸손해지더라고요. 예. 왜냐면은 그 정점에 오르지 않았기 때문에 사실
Okay, so there you go. Maybe that's part of what I was sensing earlier. He was saying he becomes a little bit more solemn, a little bit more serious, more modest.
음악 이야기만 나오면은 뭔가 되게 겸손해지더라고요.
Maybe that's sort of the unease that I was sensing a little bit earlier at times when speaking about music. You know, he doesn't feel fully fluent for whatever reason just yet talking about music in that way.
항상 맨 끝과 맨 끝이었잖아요. 그래서 저는 호비 씨의 표정을 그렇게 많이는 못 봤었어요.
그쵸. 너무 맨
지난
끝이죠.
7년간.
네.
근데 이렇게 계속 호비 씨 얼굴을 보면서 얘기를 하니까 음악 얘기하는데 이렇게
He sees J-Hope, and not only does he see him, but he's vocalizing what he sees. He's vocalizing the positives in what he sees.
근데 이렇게 계속 호비 씨 얼굴을 보면서 얘기를 하니까 음악 얘기하는데 이렇게
And J-Hope, I'm sure he appreciates that. We appreciate when people see us for who we really are, especially if they see us for the positives and can appreciate the positives. And I think V is the type of guy, he's showing it right now, that can do that in a really effective way. And that's why I think V is incredibly charming and has that ability to really connect with you.
뭐 겸손해진다 뭐 이렇게 얘기를 하시는데 저는 개인적으로 호비 씨 실력만 돼도 저는 자만하고 구슬에서 저는 어깨 피면서 걸을 것 같습니다.
Come on. No, I don't want to hear it. See,
구슬에서
he's too modest.
저는 어깨 피면서 걸을 것 같습니다.
아닙니다. 아우씨.
오늘 좋은 인터뷰 감사합니다.
마지막까지 깔끔해.
V knows how to make you feel good. V wants J-Hope to know that he's the shit. That's important for him. I think V sort of also gets a kick out of J-Hope being very modest and deflecting the praise. V recognizes that, so he might be pushing it a little even harder. But still, I think J-Hope needs to hear this.
이따 사인 한 장만.
아이씨.
아니면
오케이.
알겠습니다.
This is part of their banter. I love it. V bigging J-Hope up and J-Hope getting modest and uncomfortable.
사인 한 장만.
아이씨.
J-Hope appreciates it. He's not fully showing it, but I know he appreciates it.
오케이.
알겠습니다.
예.
나중에는 믹스테이프 한번 LP로 한번 만들어서
어우.
진짜 더 넓은 아미분들 한번 만들어 보시길 기원하겠습니다.
It's nice to have someone like V in your corner kind of encouraging you to do you.
지금까지 김태형 인터뷰어와 제이홉 씨 아티스트였습니다. 감사합니다.
J-Hope is definitely amused by V. Appreciates him. It's almost like V was sort of the big brother in this, wasn't it? Really cool dynamic. These two love each other. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to watch my uncut reaction and analysis, all you need to do is go to my Patreon page. I've included the link in my description below. Other than that, my name is Max. I will catch you soon. Peace.